So, you're hunting for a job, huh? Well, whatever your employment status, this is gonna hurt you. So is this. This is gonna sting as well. I know what you're thinking. Companies shouldn't be looking me up on social media. It has no bearing on my qualifications to do the job. Wrong, it does, and they do. Or maybe you're thinking, what I do on my personal time is none of my employer's business. Well, I'm sorry to say, wrong again, I'm afraid. So how do you build a positive personal brand across social media that's gonna help you find the job of your dreams? Well, let's explore. The lines between work life and personal life have never been blurrier than they are today. Arguably, there's no distinction, and what you do on social media outside of work can have a profound impact on your life at work. If you don't believe me, let's take a look at a case study. In order to properly investigate this case study, we're going to need to take a trip in the Wayback Machine. Now, I know what you're thinking. That's just a regular old park bench. That's what I'd want you to think. It's actually a serious piece of technical scientific equipment that will allow us to take a journey through time and space and look at a prime example of what not to do. So let's fire this baby up, shall we? This thing is still experimental, so I'm not really sure what's going to happen. All right, here we go. Activate Wayback Machine.
Recognized DeLuca, Darren, Rambling Recruiter. Are you sure you wish to activate the Wayback Machine?
Yes.
Engaging. Have a good trip.
Here we go. It's firing up. I think we're here. Let me check the date. Yep, we're here. Where are we? We're at JFK International Airport in New York. But more important than where is when. It's the holiday season, and the year is 2013. A certain young woman is here too. Justine Sacco is her name. She's heading to London, the first leg of a long trip. She's 30 years old, and she's the Senior Director of Communications for IAC. Nice work if you can get it. Let's follow her. She's about to make the first in a series of dumb tweets that will culminate in a steaming pile of racist doggy-doo that will cost her her job and more or less ruin her life. She's on a long journey from New York to her family's home in South Africa for the holidays. Traveling during the holidays is never fun. International travel, even less so. And a long journey like that will downright take the piss out of you. Justine decided to take some of this frustration out on Twitter. And as she boarded the first leg of the flight from New York to London, she tweeted this. Crude, rude, but not exactly career-ending. Unfortunately, she didn't stop here. Upon her arrival in London, she tweeted this. Again, not career-ending, but you're starting to sense a pattern here, aren't you? Disastrously, she just didn't leave it alone and struck herself with the coup de grace, boarding the final leg of her flight. As Justine boarded the flight for the final leg of this journey from London to South Africa, she let fly a racist pile of dog shit. She claimed later that it was to call attention to white privilege, which I call BS on. I call it frustration with international travel, combined with the knowledge that she knew she was going to be rubbing elbows with people she didn't like on the flight to South Africa and upon her arrival in South Africa. We've already seen from her previous tweet about the German man and about the Brits what she thinks of people who don't live up to her ideas of what's acceptable. I call this what it is, venom coming from the mouth of an entitled brat spat out into the universe in hopes of getting likes from strangers. Justine settled into her seat and gave her phone a last check before powering it down. No replies or retweets, which didn't surprise her after all. She only had 175 Twitter followers. It's a long flight from London to South Africa. Without much else to do, she slept. I like to think that she dreamed pleasant dreams of a wonderful holiday to come, totally oblivious to the shitstorm that was forming on Twitter that would circle the globe and ruin her life. In the 11 hours that followed, as Justine's plane made its way down the coast of Europe, across the Mediterranean, and down the continent of Africa, so too did her racist tweet go on a journey. This was a decidedly faster journey. Her life was turned upside down, smashed on the rocks, and run over by a truck in those 11 hours. Sadly, she didn't even know it was happening until after her plane landed. She turned her phone back on, and the first thing she noticed upon arrival in South Africa was a text from an old acquaintance she hadn't spoken to in years, saying how sorry she was to see what was happening. Justine gave that message a curious glance, wondering what that old acquaintance could have meant and why she'd be reaching out now. Then immediately after that, a message from her best friend. Needless to say, Justine Sacco was fired. She was fired before she even landed, before she was reachable to be told she was fired. Her tweet started a global firestorm of outrage. All this drama was unfolding while she was still in the air with her phone turned off. There were calls for her to be fired, calls for her head, calls for everything. All happening while she was blissfully unaware, phone turned off on an 11-hour international flight. This photo of Justine was taken by outraged Twitter users who were watching the events unfold and decided to try to meet her at the airport just to get the look on her face on photo when she realized what was happening. Her racist tweet made her an ideological crusade, but the fact that she was incommunicado for 11 hours made her something of a circus sideshow. Complete ignorance of the shit show she started and the boiling water she and her career were in for those 11 hours created both drama and irony. Her friend deleted both the tweet and her account, but it was too late. As one Twitter user noted, "Sorry, Justine, your tweet lives on forever." In less than half a day, her tweet swept the globe. She was fired, getting death threats, likely to never work in PR again, and had more haters than a Donald Trump rally. She lost her job, but if you're interviewing, you'll never even have a job to lose because you won't get so much as a sniff on your resume. All right, enough of this. Let's get back to 2020.
Engage Wayback Machine.
Engaging. Have a good trip.
Whew. I think we made it. Yeah, we're back. Whew. Lucky thing, too. That thing's still experimental. We're lucky we have our heads screwed on the right direction. I shared with you that sad, macabre story, not just as an example of how the wrong thing on social media can go viral, which it certainly is an example of, but to hammer home the point. What you say and what you do on social media is being watched, and it will have a profound impact on your life at work. If you're thinking, well, I don't have a big following on social media, that can't happen to me. Remember, Justine only had 175 Twitter followers. That's nothing. So now that we've seen a very profound example of what not to do, let's talk about 4 things you can do that will help you build a consistent personal brand across social media and help you find the job of your dreams. The most important thing you need to do with your social media profiles is go through them, all of them, and clean them up. Forget about the excuses. But I was in college. Clean it up. But I was young, and everyone acts stupid when they're young. Clean it up. An employer can't tell me what political party to support. Clean it up. But I'm entitled to my opinions. No, you're not. Clean them up. Don't give anyone a reason. They're going to search for you on social media. They're going to Google your name. Some things you have less control over, but no one needs to see those photos of you doing keg stands. No one needs to see those topless bong hit photos. Have I made this point clear enough for you? If not, read the New York Times story linked below in the description. You'll hear all about many other people that this has happened to. Spoiler alert, they all lost their jobs. So how do you build a personal brand on social media as a job seeker? Follow these 4 tips. Number 1, craft a brand statement, also known as a unique value proposition. I've discussed this at length in the video I've got linked up here. I definitely recommend you watch this as it will clarify for you and everybody else why you're the person that should be hired. Number 2, network on multiple platforms, but keep your message consistent and on point. Don't put forward a super professional persona on LinkedIn, but your Instagram is full of pictures of you doing keg stands and smoking weed. Authenticity is key, and a consistent brand message across profiles will help keep you authentic. Don't go overboard though, it's okay to have a life. Number 3, build a well-connected network. It's not enough just to have a profile. That profile needs to be active and engaged. Comment on thoughtful posts and engage with thought leaders. Join groups. Post answers as well as questions. Self-promotion on these groups and your own profile should be limited to 1 post in 10. Try to add more than you're taking away. And number 4, ensure your brand is evident on your resume. Your social media brand might fit a position perfectly, but you want to make sure that fit is conveyed accurately on your resume. Don't use a generic branding statement about yourself on your resume. Tailor your branding statement for each employer. An easy way to accomplish this is to use a tool like JobScan, which I've discussed before. My subscribers get a 30-day free trial. JobScan is great for keyword optimizing a resume, but if you want to build one from scratch, you might consider a tool like resume.io, which offers free and paid templates that you can really build a strong resume from. Links to both are below in the description. A good, strong personal brand makes networking so much easier, and as we know, more than 80% of jobs are found through networking, not through online job postings. So I want to hear from you. Which parts of this social media cleanup do you think will be easy for you? Which parts will be hard for you? Remember, clean it up. If you haven't already done so, subscribe, smash the like button, and share this video on another social media platform. The career you save may just be your own. Thanks for watching. Stay classy, YouTube. See you next time. You dig?